Isabel hereby pronounce you a resident of Haken. You're gonna love your new home, Static. If you ever need anything, all you gotta do is head over to Town Hall and my assistant, Mayor Chewy, it's just Chewy, he's not Mayor. He'll help you.
Isabel, are you playing Mayor with the dioramas again?
No?
You know we've got a big presentation at E3 on Tuesday. I need it to be perfect for all those town hall-less mayors waiting to move in.
I know. I'm just so excited for them to see how much fun they're going to have.
Fun? This is a serious business, Isabel. Town hall is for important work, like passing laws and stimulating the economy.
But it's also about throwing festivals and ribbon-cutting ceremonies and celebrations.
Yes. Perhaps you're right. Regardless, we better get going. The town is ready for our bright new residents. Hey everybody, I'm Chewy Plays Nintendo, and I'm wondering if Animal Crossing Switch is going to be the biggest game for Nintendo at E3 2019. Now, this is going to be a pretty big video, so strap in. I'm going to be talking about the possible release dates for Animal Crossing Switch, the possibility of a delay or the game being a no-show at E3, and why I think it could be the biggest game for Nintendo this E3. So to begin, you were all right. Spirit of Ace was right. I was wrong. Pokemon is November. For those of you who have been following my channel, you know I've been looking at that November 15th date for Animal Crossing, but as of the Pokemon Direct, we know Pokemon Sword and Shield are coming November 15th, 2019. So there, rub it in. It's fine. Leave your comments about how Pokemon is always November. Yeah. It's not the first time I was wrong, but I do want to talk about what this means for release dates. I do still believe September, October, and December are possible months for this Animal Crossing game. We have yet to get release dates for Link's Awakening, Luigi's Mansion 3, and Animal Crossing. With there being 3 months and 3 games to find a date for, I think it's safe to assume we'll get a game per month. I know many of you are looking forward to a September release date for Animal Crossing, but I'm actually pushing my guess back to December, and here's why. Animal Crossing is a big seller, especially for kids. It's a great holiday title for kids, and sure, Pokemon is technically already a November title that appeals to kids, but Nintendo is no stranger to releasing 2 big holiday titles a year. Last year had both Pokemon and Smash in November and December respectively. Before the Switch was out, Nintendo went years of having a home console and handheld console, both of which would get a big holiday game. On top of that, Nintendo has been consistently putting a game out in December. We got Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in December 2017, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in December 2018. I think we could continue that by getting Animal Crossing Switch in December 2019. So what do I think about September and October? Could Animal Crossing come any of those months? Well, I think Luigi's Mansion 3 is coming in September, and Link's Awakening is coming in October. Here's the other point of contention with people. Obviously, October makes sense for Luigi's Mansion 3. It's Halloween season, and Luigi's Mansion is kind of a Halloween-themed game. The issue here is that Nintendo is a Japanese company, and in Japan, horror season is actually the summer. September is the month where we transition into autumn, but I can still see them putting Luigi's Mansion out in September. I think Animal Crossing is for sure still possible in September, but I just see Luigi's Mansion taking precedence that month in Japan. I know many people also lean toward Link's Awakening being a December title, and this makes sense to me too. However, I think the task of remastering a game is probably easier than localizing a brand new Animal Crossing game. There's a wonderful article from Kotaku I've mentioned before where Jason Schreier speaks with Nintendo employees from the Nintendo Treehouse, and they talk about the huge task of localizing Animal Crossing. It's essentially translating enough text to fill 20 novels into a bunch of different languages. Not only do you have to translate though, you have to make sure that words make sense to the region. Does a joke translate? Is the name of a character appropriate for the region? There's a lot of thought that goes into translation besides directly telling you what the words say. Link's Awakening doesn't have to go through as rigorous a process because it's already been translated. The bulk of the work was done 26 years ago. That said, I do think Link's Awakening works as a December title. I mentioned earlier that Nintendo is no stranger to putting out 2 holiday titles each year. I said they often had a holiday title on their home console and another on their handheld console. I think the combination of Pokemon Sword and Shield being the huge console game, while Link's Awakening is more of a handheld-driven game, could satisfy those needs. What is difficult about this is Pokemon, Link's Awakening, and Animal Crossing have all existed as both handheld games and home console games. Any of them could satisfy each of those markets this holiday. Overall, I think the most likely months for Animal Crossing are October and December at this point. The main reason I place Animal Crossing in December is because I know the task of localizing this game will be bigger than the task of localizing Link's Awakening. In fact, it's so big, I wouldn't rule out the chance of a delay. Now here's the saddest and scariest part of this video. I'm going to talk about my worries and the possibility of a delay for Animal Crossing Switch. I was driving home earlier this week and I was reminiscing about the wait for Animal Crossing New Leaf. We got very minimal news for that game. Our first glimpse was a 7-second clip from an event in Japan in 2010. After that, we received a trailer for the game at E3 2011, but not much was said after that. Finally, when E3 2012 rolled around, we all expected to finally get a release date or something, but Animal Crossing was a no-show. The weirdest thing about not seeing Animal Crossing at E3 2012 was that New Leaf came out 5 months later in November in Japan. I'd say the only difference between this year and 2012 was that we had a trailer for the game in 2012. So, I worry that Nintendo feels they could skip giving us news, but I doubt it simply because we have literally seen nothing for the game thus far. News is always inconsistent for Animal Crossing. There's even a chance that Nintendo decides to skip showing it at E3 and then have a dedicated direct later in the summer. I just feel we never know what they're going to do. The other thing that could happen is a delay. They've been saying 2019 for this game, but I understand that people are bound to get worried as we get halfway through 2019 without seeing a single thing for the game. And that localization task is huge. There's a chance the game just takes longer to complete for a simultaneous release in all regions. One thing about the Switch is that it's not region locked. This forces Nintendo to put out brand new Nintendo Switch titles at the same time all over the world. Because we can always log into other regions and purchase games off other eShops, if the game only came out in Japan, I know a lot of us would change our regions to download the game or just import it from Japan. That means localization has to be done for all of their major markets, but there is one positive to this. In 2017, Nintendo told us Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was coming that year. Nobody believed it for 1 second. Everybody expected a delay for this game, however, it did manage to come out by December 2017. That's another huge game with tons of dialogue, so there's a chance that the team can complete the localization of Animal Crossing in time for a 2019 release. Even if the game were to get delayed, I don't expect it to be a no-show. I think we'll still get a trailer for the game at minimum. Nintendo has shown games earlier than they end up releasing. Yoshi's Crafted World got a trailer and extensive footage in the Nintendo Treehouse at E3 2017, even though it didn't come out until 2019. Fire Emblem Three Houses got a trailer at E3 2018, even though that game isn't even out yet. I think even if Animal Crossing was pushed to 2020, Nintendo would show us something. So what's the best case scenario? I think it would be an all-out, dare I say it, festival of news for Animal Crossing Switch. We'd get a trailer, a name, a release date, a huge treehouse segment, and everything we could ever want. In this scenario, I do believe that Animal Crossing would be the biggest game for Nintendo at E3. Animal Crossing is a huge moneymaker for Nintendo. From its huge following to its stellar sales, there's a lot of opportunities for Nintendo to put Animal Crossing on the Switch. So why do I think it has a shot at being the biggest game shown at E3? Well, here are my reasons. Super Mario Maker 2 and Pokemon Sword and Shield already got directs. I consider Animal Crossing one of the biggest games Nintendo makes. It does incredibly well, but I'd say Mario and Pokemon tend to pull just ahead of it in terms of global reach. However, Mario and Pokemon have both gotten their directs and tons of information was already shared about their next games. It doesn't seem like Nintendo needs to spend too much time on these games during E3. And there are so many games I want them to talk about. I can't wait to hear about Fire Emblem, Link's Awakening, and Luigi's Mansion. I'm so ready to play every one of these games. Compared to the other games we know about that Nintendo hasn't talked about, Animal Crossing is probably the biggest. Of the remaining games, there's Fire Emblem Three Houses, Astral Chain, Luigi's Mansion 3, and Link's Awakening. I expect Animal Crossing to be the biggest seller of this group. The entire Fire Emblem franchise has sold 12.16 million copies. New Leaf alone sold 12.21 million. Astral Chain is a new IP, so I don't expect many people to buy into the game as they would once it's become more established. Luigi's Mansion sold 3.33 million on the GameCube, and Dark Moon sold 5.45 million. That series has sold nearly 9 million combined. Surprisingly enough, there are only 3 Zelda games that sold more copies than Animal Crossing New Leaf, and none of them are Link's Awakening, however. Link's Awakening sold just over 6 million units across 2 consoles. Overall, I expect a huge push for Animal Crossing since it's such a huge seller for Nintendo. The next reason I feel there will be a big push for Animal Crossing is because it reaches the wider gaming audience. For the most part, a lot of games coming to the Nintendo Switch have appealed to more hardcore gaming crowds. Sure, you have your Stardew Valleys and My Time at Portia's here and there, but there's something special about that Nintendo-made game. Back in February 2018, Nintendo mentioned that they want every person to own a Switch console. The CEO mentioned that they intend the Switch to be for the individual, not the household. In order to reach a wider audience, we need to see more variety in the types of games available on the console. There need to be many different experiences that appeal to many different people. There are plenty of people out there who have been waiting for Animal Crossing in order to pick up a Switch. They want to know there's a Nintendo-made life sim waiting for them when they get the console. I made a video about this last year, but Animal Crossing's biggest demographic was women ages 19 to 24. Reaching that demographic would bring a huge boost in Switch sales and open the console up to a wider variety of games. It also allows those new demographics to experience all the great games that already exist on the console. Overall, new people can experience one of my favorite consoles of all time and bring a bigger variety of games to the console. Can we get a cooking mama, please? But outside of moving consoles and bringing us a healthier gaming economy, Nintendo will also benefit through online. I believe Animal Crossing will boost sales of the Nintendo Switch Online service. If I had to guess, the biggest online games for Nintendo at the moment are Mario Kart 8, Splatoon 2, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. While Mario Kart 8 may have a more casual appeal, Splatoon 2 and Smash are typically more competitive-focused games. We don't have a truly casual game that really pushes online play. Animal Crossing is a pioneer for Nintendo in terms of online play. The DS was the first console Nintendo made with wireless internet gameplay. Mario Kart DS and Animal Crossing Wild World were 2 of the first games that introduced online play to Nintendo gamers. With Wild World, you could visit friends' towns, fish together, trade items, and experience the game in an entirely new way. The audience of gamers on the Switch that aren't interested in competitive gaming could be inspired to get the online service because of Animal Crossing. That could finally be the online experience that gets them to pay for that subscription. So in all, I believe Animal Crossing will do great in sales, it'll make the Switch more attractive to other demographics, and it could boost the sales of the online service. I believe it's in the position to be an important game for Nintendo this E3. Thank you to all who made it to the end of this video. Last year, I did an 8-episode series leading up to E3 to discuss all the reasons I thought it was time for Animal Crossing Switch to be announced. Fast forward to today, and it's crazy that we know the game is on the way, but we still haven't seen it. I hope that we do finally get to glimpse the game on Tuesday. I know it's something I've been looking forward to for years, and I know a lot of the Animal Crossing community is anxiously waiting for some news. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for all the content I have on the way. Saturday, June 8th, I'll be doing a test live stream while enjoying Nintendo's tournaments with all of you. Sunday, we're hosting a live podcast. It's our pre-3 special, and it will be the first time we stream the podcast live on YouTube. If you miss it, no worries, it will be up Monday for everybody to listen. Finally, Tuesday, we get news from Nintendo at E3. I'll be doing a live stream of the show, followed by another live podcast for E3 2019. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye!